video. Today we're talking team comps, free-to-play builds, and my thoughts on how the meta is shifting, especially with Funny Valentine dropping. Let's get into it. But before we get into it, to stop you there, hope everyone's doing well. You're all welcome here. Thank you for coming by. Today is going to be a different type of video. As you see, I'm recording it now, so I'm going off the dome, but it should be a little bit of a shorter video. May not. This isn't going to be my daily, how I go for everything, and then I have then I go to something and explain it, whatever, like I've done previously in videos. I just wanted this video just to be clear and concise and just about about team comps and how the meta is changing. Just to make it more clear for you guys, and so you can just click on the video and just not have fluff. Even though I'm kind of talking about fluff right now, but hey, it is what it is. The reason why I'm doing this is because in the comments, you guys have commented on, especially on today's video that I posted this morning, but also previously in other videos before I went away, what ideas they wanted to have, what type of videos you want, stuff like that. And thank you for everyone that has commented and who will future comment. Don't worry, I have read it, I've liked it, I've commented on you guys, replied back. It is in the bank and I'm sorting through it right now. Coming up with ideas of what to do, how I want to do it, because there's stuff that I want to do and like how I want to do and present myself, but also I want to, you guys, watch this content, and I want to give you good and informational and fun Golden Stone stuff because I love this game and I want to show why it's a good game and why my love for it. I want to spread it around. But I also want to give good information because there is a lot, and especially from I'm about to talk next, there's a lot of information and a lot of it is changing, especially with new characters, for example, like Funny Valentine entering the game. So thank you all for that, and now let's actually go into it. First thing I wanted to talk about is that there is a fix, apparently, it might even be literally like as soon as I drop this video, at the end of the week, there is some character fixes. Now, I have some information in the Discord that I've been reading, because this literally, I had a whole script for this video, or a whole dot points for this video, and I literally finished work, got home, and this was in the Discord, so it's changed, and I know I needed to talk about it because it changes some of the things I cover in this video. So characters are getting fixed. What I mean by that is that in the Discord they said that they're going to be fixing some characters through their damage or their typing, for example, their description of their abilities. The first big one I wanted to talk about is Chicolotta. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know. Chicolotta is a really good and a really easy free-to-play character upgrade. What I would have said in this video is that he is the best free-to-play damage character, in my opinion. However, with the recent news about his character getting fixed or changed, well, I should say fixed, because technically it's a bug. If you didn't know, Chicolotta, once you got him to 10 stars, you're able to awaken a character. And when you awaken a character, they get it's different to every character, but they usually get an added bonus to their abilities by damage and also an effect. One of the things is that Chicolotta, when he got to level 5 awakening, is that he was able to do massive amounts of damage to all the people in the team. Now, it was a typo, because usually you only meant to target, I think the back row or just the middle row. I forget, it's been so long. I'll bring it up on screen. But when you awaken him, apparently that he attacks everyone. So that made him really, really good, because he would attack everyone for damage and also put his plague or poison on damage and debuff and stuff like that. So for me right now, besides Kakyoin, he is my second top damage dealer. He was insane. He was doing 10 mil, 11 mils. Kakyoin's doing 12 and 11 mils. So absolutely must use character. But now they're fixing it. So he's only going to, potentially, we'll find out, of course, what they actually do. But the rumor is that he's just going to do what the text says, which I believe is the back row or middle row. I'm not looking at it. Sorry, I've just hit record. I have nothing in the background. So we have to tune in for that. So I was going to say definitely get Chicolotta, but I think, will he still be good? Yes. But is he going to be as insane as he was? No. So that might change how we look at the character and maybe put in a different character. As well, maybe they should be fixing Risotto. His one of his abilities apparently isn't. He's meant to proc bleed, disease, and plague, but apparently he hasn't been proccing bleed. So he should hopefully fix that. And then also Cars, one of, I believe, his execution ability is also not fully working. So hopefully they fix that. So that's one of the things, and I don't know if you've noticed, I've noticed definitely sometimes, like Bujarati will attack but do no damage, like physically do no damage, like no numbers pop up or anything like that. It doesn't say miss or anything, it just doesn't do any damage. Things like that. There are bugs in the game. But yeah, so that's one of the things. Now, so just to let you know that that's happening, be fair for that, I'll cover it when it comes out because this is, I think, very big news. Some people are saying that hopefully they get some rollback stones, which, me being in that position that I've upgraded him so much, I kind of hope so too, because the only reason I invested him was because he was this good. Now that he's not, I've put in a lot of effort and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Will that happen? Look, probably not, but, you know, we don't know. We'll wait to see what happens when it happens. The next thing I wanted to get into, let me just have a sip of water, is the difference between free to play and pay to win in Golden Stone. So I got some notes here. So in Golden Stone, for me personally, being in Australia, some of the prices are really steep. Now, I don't know what it's like internationally, but for example, Australia, I think it's in USD. For me, it's in USD. It is $100. So when I look at something and go, oh, it's $100, that's pretty good, right? Like, not pretty good, that is expensive, because I've spent money on the game. I'm not free to play, I'm pay to win. I don't say play to win, I've just spent money on the game, but hey, if that's what you want to coin me, that's what you want, you can coin me that, I don't mind. So for example, $99.99. For me, when I actually make the purchase and it converts over, it's $150 AUD. That's a lot of money. And I think carefully and budget it out. I only do it really when I get my my paycheck. I don't make purchases like during the week. As soon as I get my paycheck, to reward myself or anything like that, I spend the money and I try and get the most bang for my buck. Or I just spend on a little thing, depending on what's going on. It might be a skin out, or it might be a new character, for example, like Funny Valentine or GER. So yeah. That's one of the things there, and I don't know what it is like in other places. I'm not really too familiar with the concept or the topic, but yeah. Next thing is that like most games, with especially Funny Valentine, you got to be careful and be aware that, especially with these developers in this game as well, new characters, when they're going to be released, are going to be broken. We've noticed this with GER. We've noticed this with Diavolo when he first came out. We've noticed this with Funny Valentine. It's a theme, and the reason they do this, of course, is to make money. Like a business, like every other game as well. When characters come out or whatnot, whatever, gacha things, whatever, normal games, battle passes, however, they're going to make it broken because they want people to play it. They want them to spend money. That's just a business thing. And look, that's fair. I think that's fair enough. I don't want it to be crazy expensive. I want to give everyone a chance. That's one of the things I know is I believe a topic in the gaming community at the moment, is that, of course, whales, as they call them, are spending all the money that's driving the prices, because I know people will pay for it. And so if things get outrageous for a normal person, normal gamer. So I don't think, if a new character comes out, I don't want it to be too steep, like, $150, because that's crazy. But that's one of, at least in this game, you need multiple versions of the character and you're spending all this money. So yeah. But to say all of that, I don't want to say it, like, that's one of my concerns with it, but I really do love this game. And the reason why I also want to spend my money is because I want to support the game. I want to support the developers. I want them, if they have money, paying their staff, also upgrading the game, adding more characters and stuff like that. I love the game and I want it to succeed. So I don't think spending money is a bad thing. If you don't have the money, and you don't have the money, that's okay. Or if you don't want to spend the money, that's perfectly fine. You get to do whatever you want. But if you do pay money, that doesn't mean, I think some people say, wow, pay to win. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Some people may, but if you get judged, you get judged. But I do it. little purchases. For example, like if in a game like a battle pass or something like that, if I really like the game, I'll do it just so I can support, if it's an indie game, just to support the developers on that. Okay, that's it for paying money in the game. Some topics there to think about, and if you want to spend money or not in this game. They characters do return. I see a lot of comments, especially in my comment section and also in the Discord. New character just released, and is it going to happen again? And I think it's because it said limited time, and I believe that's why. And I can see why, because limited time, you could only get it then. But these characters do come back. So if you're free to play, you will eventually, if you have the gems as well, you will get these characters upgraded. They are really good. And I do suggest getting them, but yeah, you'll slowly get them up. Maybe you get them to 2 stars, and then you'll get them to 4, maybe 5, and so on and so on. So yeah, moving on. I got a title here: Meta Shifts. Funny Valentine changes everything. With limited time characters, and this is what I'm saying here because I'm gonna not really cover it as much later on. Oh no, I will probably, but later on. Gappy was the first limited time character. Now, is he good? From what I know, I haven't used him and stuff like that, but from what I read in the Discord, he's good. For example, like Chicolotta, once he gets that 5-star and more on Awaken levels, he becomes really, really good, or really good and powerful. Does good damage and good effects, and he also has a revive in his kit, which is usually revive is nice. However, the next limited time character was GER. Now GER is insane. He is the best assist at the moment with his built-in passive too. When he dies, he revives all the other dead characters, which is insane. He's an assist in my team. He's an assist in a lot of people's team, just because of that ability. So Gappy was sort of, I guess, compared to the other guys, not too fancy. I don't want to say he's mid. He wasn't too fancy, right? His kit wasn't like wow, but it's still a really good kit. But GEI has switched it up completely. Everyone's going for him. Everyone loves him. Stuff like that. Next character released was Diavolo, the first Hermit. Because Gappy and GER was Union character, Diavolo was the first Hermit character. Insane bleed, and this was starting to do the shift of what I'll talk about later with the metas, as you say, where bleed and the Hermit, that's really Hermit teams like debuffing and doing damage. That's sort of their thing. So doing the bleed, adding it on with bleed and risotto and Dio vampire, really getting that bleed and debuff and just destroying people, stuff like that. So that was, really good, and people were going for him, and plus there's a really cool character in the skin. Now, the newest character, he's been out for the 3rd week now, I believe, is Funny Valentine. And now he's considered the SSS tier, triple S tier, generally considered the best character in the game now. He's insane damage and buff potential, and especially he's able to change buffs on the enemy team to debuffs. He has such a good kit, and that's what I mean what I was saying before with whenever they're going to release a new character, they are going to be really, really good, and it's going to change things depending on what's happening in the game, and I'll cover this a bit more later. But from he enables a lot. He has now enabled a big diversity shift in the game, because originally it was the people were Union characters. You had Jotaro, you had Koichi, you had Kakyoin, you always had Enya on your team, but you had maybe even GR, even had Gappy now because he was a limited type character. You now have GER, so you had you could have very Union heavy teams. Because there wasn't really many, it was still viable, but people were still exploring it, I should say. And, but yeah, so people were using Union teams, but now it's shifted to now being Hermit characters. And that's a lot of questions that's happening in the Discord now is, should I be using bleed builds? Should I go into this? Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to explain a bit more in detail later. That's going to be the end of that chapter. I'll put that in the timestamp. Now, next thing I want to bring up, I just put a little point here. This was sort of me thinking about just going on a rant, and I'll go on a rant here. For example, there's people like ask who's better. Now this is always going to be a controversial, I'll say, answer or question, because it's all down to, unless there's like straight numbers with it, it's a bit down to people's opinion. So what I have here is Joseph versus Bujarati, who's better? So for example, I have Joseph and Bujarati on my team. Joseph does, how do I put this? The Bujarati is really good. Joseph is also S tier as well in some of the tiers, and Joseph, for me, if I look at the numbers, Joseph always puts out more damage than Bujarati. That's because Joseph is a lot more AoE focused. His first attack does an AoE attack, and then his rage skill does AoE attack. Where Bujarati shines is that he's very much single target damage and follow-up attacks. Now, this is where the discrepancy of where the who's better character, should I do this character, should I do this character? It really depends on your team comp. and I know this is why people ask as well. But generally in the game, which I'll come up in a second here, that most characters are good. A lot of characters are viable. Now, is there some that are elite, which I'll cover in a second? Yes, there is. 100%. Kakyoin, stuff like that. But like Bujarati, Chocolata at the moment, we'll see what happens, rip. And then Joseph, they are good characters, and I suggest using them, especially because they're easier to get. But both are great, and it depends on your team comp and playstyle. So for example, I don't have on my team good, besides Jotaro, a damage character, like a mage or a physical, more physical, or magic character, I should say. Bujarati is my like only single target and single target and follow-up damage character. But I see him put in the work. Joseph does a lot of AoE damage, but Bujarati is the one that really takes down the characters. You know, they're low, he comes in, takes them out, he does a follow-up attack and stuff like that. I just wanted to go off there just to give a little idea of why you can't really get why you may get a general answer, and some people, because they really favor, like for example for me, I see the damage numbers, Joseph for me outshines Bujarati, but I know in my team comp Bujarati is really, really good and really, really helpful at the moment. So just to give you some information there. I just look at the time, this is going to be a lot longer video than I thought it was going to be. But look, that's okay. I want to really, really cover the things in here, and I think this will be really helpful. Next thing is, look, before I go into this, don't stress over the meta too much. This is a game. Have fun. If you want to use characters like Jonathan or Whitesnake, use them if you want. You know, I want to use some characters as well, but being higher up, you need to use better characters. But if you want to just have fun with it, just have fun with it. And I know a lot of people are free to play. If you want to be free to play and just use the characters you want, there are some people like I know on my server, I can't say his name because there's a swear word in it, but Mr. Star, as I call him, he uses a lot of doesn't use that many union characters. You know, he's got Whitesnake, he's got Bujarati and stuff, maybe only 2, but he's using those characters. And other people are using like Jonathan and stuff like that. Most characters are viable. There are a few that are elite, but with the right setup, you can make it all work. Like, you know, when you're at the max, which very, very few people are, with like everyone's 13 stars, max emblems and stuff like that. That's where you really need to skin a lot of, it's like 1% better than the other player and you'll win. A lot of people, I'm not, a lot of you guys aren't, you don't really need to focus on that as much. Damn, have I really talked for that much? 19 minutes? Jesus. Sorry, guys. But now, let's get into it. So, this is going to be the free-to-play team building guide, and I'm going to bring up some images just for myself to reference to. But update's great. In the Discord, one of the things is that for the free-to-play and non-union characters. So I'm going off here right now. I want to be really specific with non-union, union, and Hermit and limited characters. So I'm just going off with wit, morale, and I don't know, whatever the other one is. Let me pull up the Discord quickly. and do the tier list here. Here we go. Do the free to play tier list just because it just has a lot more information on it. One of the things here is what I want to talk about is the ideal team setup. Now, in my opinion, the ideal core team is probably one tank, one healer, and the rest is DPS. You can try double tank in like 2 healer comps, or even both, double tank, 2 healers, 2 damage, or whatever you want to do, 1 tank, double healer. But they really shine better, those team comps, really when you have like a Jotaro or maybe an Enya and stuff like that in there. And so that's why I want to completely separate right now, like Union and Hermit, Union characters and non those type of characters. I don't want to say Union Hermit Limited all the time. So when I say that, you know what I mean. And one of these things is that when you're free to play, you'll slowly build up these characters. You'll. One of the things that I want to suggest right now is if you are starting out the game and you don't have any of those characters, the first thing you want to do is get Enya. Enya is the top healer. Her revives are the same. She's literally basically in every single team comp at high level. So save up for Enya. If you're free to play, save up for Enya. Simple as that. Then you can go, maybe if you want to go a bleed build, like a Hermit build or a non-union build, you can go around there. But one of the things is, I want to say, so characters. If I was going to be free to play again, which may be a video coming up, maybe on the nose there, I would probably do the setup, 1 tank, 1 healer, DPS. Would probably have Iggy as my tank. Iggy's a really, really good tank. I'm going to put up the tier list for free to play on the screen right now. Then I would do Jonathan. Then I would do Chocolata, but he might change. So what would I have? I would have Enya on my team. Enya's 1, Iggy's 1, so that's 2. I would have Jonathan, which is 3. I'd probably have Abdul, makes him 4. And then me personally, just for like fun and stuff like that, I'd probably have like White Snake or even Bug Eater on it. But the right answer would probably be Joseph or Bujarati. I think that's 6 characters there, roughly like that. Maybe even a GER or William for healing, more healing, or another different tank, whatever. Maybe Cars or something like that. Cars is sorry, I wanted to separate that. No Homer characters, but you know what I mean. Maybe Lisa or something like that. Those characters are really, really good. And if you look at the tier list, they're not ordered, they're just chucked into the tier. They're not like Josuke is currently at top of A. That's not because he's like the best A character. They're just all in a tier list. Then I would go for maybe after you get Enya up and you're getting all these other characters up, you can maybe focus on a Kakyoin, or if you really want to go from there, you can move on to any branch that you want. But one of the things here is build around like the characters that you have, because you can use them for fodder later. One of the things is that early on I was using Stroheim, and I didn't know this at the time that he only went up to 9 stars, and I got him to 9 stars and I was using him, I was going to promote him, and it didn't work, but I just used him as fodder for another character. Like, there is room in this game to upgrade besides the Union Hermit, so you just want to make sure you get that right before you waste stuff, and I know that's what people want to know, so that's what I'm doing. I hope I'm making sense with this stuff, because like in my mind I have a point to make, and I hope I'm making this point. So that's what I would do. I would probably go for Jonathan, go for, even Prosciutto. I think I used Prosciutto for a while, but Joseph and Bujarati and this is using no Hermit characters, saying again, and then you would slowly integrate them into the team. But I would always put Enya in. I'm going to put Enya in. If you're a free-to-play player, get Enya. If not, use William, or even GER if you want to. Or even, you can use, what's her name? Jolene Cujo. Because she does good attack boost and heal. Some people are using her because she gives a heal boost to everyone at the moment. So that's a different team comp there. People wouldn't typically use Jolene, but some people are finding great success with her because she does the attack boost, especially once she's awakened and stuff like that. So awakening is huge. I hope that covers everything with the free-to-play team building, and just take it slowly. You'll get there. But use characters like that. and then slowly get them in. But what I'm going to do is, I'll hint at the video now, I do plan on making a free-to-play video, like series. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I'm going to get a new account and start on from there. And my goal is to only use non-union characters. So I'm literally just going to use, and I got a team planned out. I've got a team, and just have some fun with it and see how far I get. So just to show, because I think it's a good idea not only as a content creator to see what free-to-play is like, but but that's the main thing there, just so I know what's going on. Also to give some good information when you're free-to-play, but yeah, I think it's a good refresher just to see how the game is going and stuff like that for new players and whatnot. Now, the reason why that was a bit shorter is because I know everyone wants to hear the news about the Union and Hermit characters. So I'm going to go with two different roads here. First one, I'm going to talk about Union characters and what's going on with them. And then I'm going to talk about the meta shift with Hermit characters now and what a good team comp would be for them. Originally, old school, but solid, I've put it. Back in the day, what it was everyone was going for Kakyoin. I mean, they still are. Everyone was going for Kakyoin. Everyone was going for Jotaro. Everyone was going for Kyoichi. Everyone was going for, GER is a bit later on, but GER. Now, so this used to be what everyone was doing. The reason why is because Kyoichi has an ability, I believe he gets buffed with every Union character that is on your team. This relates to the opposite of Hermit character, which is Funny Valentine, which I'll get into later. So everyone was just running that. So you had Kyoichi, which was one, Jotaro, which was another, Kakyoin, you would have GER, you would even have Gappy, because Gappy was the first limited time character. So you got a lot of buffs from this, and this is what people were running, because Jotaro would tank, Kyoichi would armor break and do lots of damage, and then Kakyoin would absolutely obliterate everyone. So this synergy is really strong, and that's what people are still going for, and it's still, and I want to say this, it's still really good. But what someone has made in the comments, and I actually want to shout out who it was. It'll appear on screen. I want to quickly go through it. Who was it? It was... of course. Of course it was. It was Wong. It was the legend Wong, the mod of Rats, who said this. And I'll try and put this on screen. He said that Union characters seems like the PvE meta. Now, a lot of this game is PvE. A lot of it. There is a couple that's PvP, but a lot of it is PvE. So that's what makes it really good, because what happens if you do PvE is that what you need to do is you need to debuff everyone and you need to armor break everyone with Kyoichi and do huge damage. Going on from there. And so you just absolutely obliterate the AI. But with Hermit characters, that has now changed. Solid team comp with Union characters that you want to have. Either way, you're going to have Enya. She's a healer. Either way, you're going to have Enya. Next, if you can, so this is getting to the end. When I say I want to change this, so this is getting to the end if you're using Union and Hermit characters, but you want to use GER. GER is the best assist in the game. So I want to show you, this is like the end goal. So if you want to work towards something, some people might be not patient and want to use characters, and I don't know how quickly you get these type of characters. I get them quite easily. I don't know if free-to-play players get them as easily, but you want GER as assist. Then you want Jotaro as the tank, because he is currently the best tank in the game. So what's that? 1, 2, that's 3. You want to get Kyoichi, because of course he's a very good synergy with those characters. Then you want to get Jotaro, that's 5, and then you want to get, you could have from there another healer, so you could have GE, so got an experience. The reason why I said that is just because Kyoichi gets buffs the team more with more that type of characters. You could also use even like a William, or you could screw the healer because you have Enya. You could use like someone like Gappy or Cicolata. You could have used Bujarati, Joseph, sort of like what my team is right now. I'll show it on screen. I need to remember that. I'll show it on screen right now. So yeah, so if you want to use a human team, a union team, go for that. You could also have a mix-up, and I'll talk about that later on past this. The next thing that I want to talk about is the meta shift with Funny Valentine. He's come out, and I think he's really pointed out the power of Hermit characters now. Now, originally, there was, I think, 5 union characters, and then they got 2 limited time characters first. So they got Gappy and GER. So that means there was 7, I believe. I hope I'm right remembering that. Hermit characters still had 5, and people I don't think really were exploring it as much, because when they first came out, everyone was just like Kakyoin, so everyone was going for that type of team. But now bleed teams do really, really well, and I want to bring it up again from Wong, the mod of Rats, before I go in. It seems like Hermit characters just counters Union. I'll say it word for word. Hermit just counters Union. That's really all. So what he says back down here is he says, Hermit seems like the PvP meta team. The reason why I say that is because Funny Valentine's kit, and I'll show a couple of images on screen, I hope, if I go back and edit it and remember. He can single out targets. Single out targets from depending on where he is in the lineup. He changes buffs. So, for example, he really counterplays Kakyoin, because Kakyoin buffs his team. And what does Funny Valentine does? He changes the buffs, has a chance to change the buffs to debuffs. Really counters there. Things like bleed as well, with Diavolo really bleeding the team and slowly bringing them down. And then, if you dispel, then you just put it back on them with, for example, Dio. And then Risotto is just constantly debuff, and stacking, and just really wearing down the team. However, I want to say this thing, it's still really, really good, but pure damage burst in PvE, I think that Union is better. Do I think Hermit now is strong? Yes, I think it's stronger now than ever. Because of Funny Valentine's one of his abilities is that with every Hermit on the team, there's a buff with that. He buffs all the Hermit on the team. So now, especially because if you already have Enya on your team, so that's 1 Hermit, you now can have a team comp of Dio Stand as the tank, because he's the second best tank in the game. You can now have Risotto, that's 2. Oh, you have 3 because of Enya. You now have Funny Valentine, that's 5. You now have Vamp Dio. You now have Diavolo. So that's 6 characters there already that are all, in their own right, fantastic characters. And they all blend well together. And you only really need 2 of them, like a Vamp Dio and Risotto. That's sort of the bottom of it. You can have Vamp Dio and Diavolo, Risotto and Diavolo, to really make the bleed shine really, really well. So especially now, because Valentine is considered the best character in the game and everyone's now going for him because he is now released, changes it a lot. changes it a lot. So some team comps with that one is what I just said before, Dio tank and whatnot. But what you can do as well is that with you can buff. So there's wit characters, morale characters, and valor characters. That's what it's called. Then there is Union and Hermit characters really blend well together because they stack. They get the bonuses if you have them on your team. So now what you can do, which is something that I'm going to do unless things change, is that you can get you can get what I'm trying to say, like, for example, Jotaro as tank, Koichi as a debuffer, because he can debuff now for someone like Valentine and Diavolo, and then you can also have Kakyoin, and you can also have GER. That's 6 characters right there, and you're already insane doing a lot of work. I think you need a 7 for assist there. I hope I counted it all right. And that's a really solid team. And also you're covering all bases. So if you're versing a Union character, Hermits fighting them. And if you're versing Hermit characters, instead of just constantly like not doing weakness damage to them, like doing effective damage, because they counter each other. Sort of like dragon type in Pokemon that does damage to each other. They do super weakness. They're super effective to each other. They're super effective to each other. That's what I'm trying to get. So then you cover all your bases. Kyoichi debuffs them, just debuffs them general, but also do damages to them. Kakyoin does all damage to all the Hermit characters, and then Divala does all the characters, the unit characters, because that's what everyone's using at the top. I hope that all makes sense and understands, and I hope I'm making a point there. Not just saying, oh, TNT, we already know this. Just want to state it for everyone, so if you're going through it. This video is very different to what I thought it was going to be. I'm sorry, guys, but I wanted to just give this information out now. So, with this, I wanted to just... Next one, progression and evolution. Your team will naturally evolve. You're going to get different characters. You're not going to get all the ones you're going to want to get. Yada, yada, yada. You're going to wait, and maybe you'll get the right characters. So just focus on key units first. If you really want to focus, so you can, I think it's easy enough to just get characters up to 4 stars. 5 stars is when you're investing a lot in them. But if you want to get them up, get them all to 4 stars, and you can just use a team there. And once everyone's 4 stars, in my opinion, or sorry, I should say 9 stars. When everyone's 9 stars, you can then focus on really focusing on, so then you don't have to overcommit to anyone. Then you can focus on, hey, I want to get Kyoichi up. I want to get maybe Jotaro, or first thing you want to do is get Enya up and stuff like that. So that's what this video is mainly just me collecting my thoughts and thinking about what's going on and what direction like that I really want to take. And I just wanted to give you good information, especially if characters changing or not changing, getting fixed, and who people should go for. So I really hope this helped everyone and you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm literally looking at the Discord right now and it's like, should I get Vamp Dio? Should I get Kakyoin or Funny Valentine? Should I get this character? Should I get that character? And I think it's a valid question, and I don't think there's anything wrong with asking. I ask it in the chat as well. So that's just, if you look at this video, I hope this gives you just an overall breakdown of what's going on and how Hermit characters are becoming a lot more viable. Do I reckon they're the best thing in the world? No, maybe. Funny Valentine definitely helps. Maybe they're really good with Funny Valentine on the team. Maybe they're very good with Divala on the team. But so I think Wong said it really best. Hermit seems like very PvP meta because a lot of, and then Union seems very PvE because a lot of Hermit really just counters Union characters. So yeah. That was a lot. And also, don't be afraid to mix and match, and depending on your luck and drops, just in there. Okay. Once again, I'm going to put different tier lists here, hopefully free to play, and then the pay to win tier list just gives you a rough idea. Emphasis on getting, if you're a free to play player, get Enya. Every character get Enya. Now I would say get Chicolotta next, however that might change. From there I'd focus on someone like Bujarati or even Jonathan, or even someone like Pet Shop. Might be really, really good to just get him to 4 stars. Just to clarify, this guide is more of a flexible path and not a fixed rule. That's why I wanted to just give you a lot of different information and just to make you think. Now, my final thoughts is play how you want. Don't stress over perfect comps early on and have fun. Support the devs if you can and experiment with what works for you. So I can't really give you I'm a black and white guy. Like I want, who's the best 6 characters? And then everyone's like, these are the best 6. And I go, all right, let me get them. But it's not, that's not what the game is. And that's not what I want the game to be as well. I want there to be people fun. I want people to use characters because they like using the characters, not because they're using characters that they don't like just because they're the best characters. Stuff like that. All right. This was a lot longer than I thought. I'm sorry about that. I really did not mean to make this video this long. I thought it was literally going to be 10 minutes. I was so wrong. I usually ramble. Thank you all for your support. Like and subscribe, and comment down below if you like this kind of content. And of course, give me any ideas of what type of videos and stuff like that you should want. And yada yada, just comment anything. I do daily comment videos daily comments if you don't know my videos. So if you want to be a part of my daily comment in the next video, let me know. And as another thing as well, my content changing just to experiment, just to see what people like. Usually I was just going to do like a 10-minute video describing something like what this was meant to be, but this has gone over that clearly. But I'm thinking about just making maybe 10-minute videos, or even maybe doing a gameplay video, for example, like character showcases, or even like maybe just do my daily video that I do, but maybe do it every second day, maybe not post a daily video. Or some people have suggested, and they're okay with, maybe I just post a short. Like if I don't want to do a video that day, I can just post a short that has good content in there. Thank you all for watching. I hope everyone having a fantastic day. I'll see you all tomorrow, which will be a Thursday. Bye!